Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where we share all kinds of delicious, easy to make recipes that are perfect for busy families, weekend dinners, or special occasions. You'll always find something you'll love. My goal is to make cooking at home enjoyable, stress-free for you without sacrificing flavor. Now today, we've got a real treat for you. If you love a good rare tender beef brisket made in the slow cooker, you're in the right place. We're going to show you how to make this delicious recipe, and trust me, it's easy that anyone can do it. Plus, it's that kind of dish that practically cooks itself, leaving you with more time to relax and take care of other things. In this video, we'll walk you through each step from seasoning the brisket to letting it slow cook to perfection, all while keeping things simple and straightforward. Look at this beautiful brisket. It's tender, juicy, and full of flavor. To round out the meal, we're going to pair it with some crispy roasted potatoes and asparagus. And don't forget to check out that video too. Some other great options to serve with your brisket is caramelized onions, dinner rolls, mac and cheese, spinach salad. If you enjoy this recipe, be sure to subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on any of our delicious dishes like this one. So grab your apron and let's get started. Now let's begin by prepping our flat cut corned beef brisket. Now brisket comes with a layer of fat on one side. While a bit of fat helps the meat keep it juicy and tender, you don't want too much. We're going to trim that thick fat cap down to about 1/4 inch. This will allow the fat to render during cooking, keeping the brisket moist, but we don't want that finished dish to be greasy. Trimming the fat is important because while the fat can keep the moist during the slow cooking, excessive fat can result in greasy or fatty meat. Leaving a little bit of fat helps with moisture and flavor, but too much can make the final dish unpleasant. The fat that remains helps to infuse the meat with flavor as it renders during cooking. By trimming it to a reasonable thickness, you strike a good balance between flavor and texture. Removing excess fat helps the final dish look more appealing. It makes it easier to slice and serve. Now remember, if you leave the fat cap intact, you could always remove it after cooking when serving, especially if you're slicing the brisket. The fat can be easily separated, and some people prefer to keep it on during cooking to ensure flavor and moisture. Once that's done, we'll season the brisket with paprika, thyme, onion powder, and a little bit of red chili flakes for some heat. We want to make sure to coat all sides of the meat for that full flavor. Next, we're going to prepare our vegetables. We're using 1 onion, 2 celery stalks, carrots, all cut long so they'll cook nicely in the slow cooker and give our brisket even more flavor as it simmers. These vegetables will help create a delicious base for our brisket to cook in. Now that our brisket is seasoned and vegetables are prepped, it's time to sear the meat. Heat up over medium heat. We want to brown all sides of the brisket, which helps lock in the flavors and give it that rich, deep color. This step takes only a few minutes, and you'll see the magic happen as the meat crispies up. Once it's beautiful seared, we're going to remove the brisket from the pot and set it aside while we saute the veggies. In the same pot, add a little bit of olive oil and let's saute the onions, celery, and carrots for a few minutes. This adds extra flavor to the base of our slow cooker. You'll start to smell the wonderful aroma as they soften and take on some color. Once the veggies are softened, it's time to add our secret sauce ingredients. We're going to add ketchup, salt and pepper, a little bit of brown sugar, Dijon mustard, tomato paste, and a splash of cooking wine. All these ingredients will create a rich, flavorful sauce that will infuse the brisket as it cooks. Now let's get everything into the slow cooker. First, we'll transfer the sauteed vegetables into the slow cooker. On top of that, we'll place our seared brisket. We'll add some chicken broth and a bay leaf for extra flavor. If you want to add more flavor, you can use beef broth, vegetable broth, or even add a little bit of beer or wine. The liquid will help tenderize the brisket and provide moisture as it slowly cooks. Set your cooker to high for 4 to 6 hours. Now I know this might be a little tempting to peek inside, trust me. The longer you let it cook, the more tender and flavorful it will be. You'll know the brisket is done when it reaches the internal temperature of 195 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. This range will make sure your brisket is melt in your mouth tender. If you're cooking on low, it would probably take about 8 to 10 hours. Keep an eye on it and check the tenderness towards the end of the cooking time. Once it's done, you want to check for tenderness. You could do a simple fork or knife test. If it easily slides into the meat and starts to pull apart easily, then you know it's ready. You can also use a thermometer to make sure that's in the perfect temperature range. Now, we're going to make a delicious thick sauce by adding water and flour to the slow cooker and stirring it. This will create a smooth, rich gravy that will perfectly complement the brisket.